Out here at Vikings training camp, we found a familiar face, former NFL head coach. I mean, you played, you've coached, you've been a coordinator in the league. It's Jason Garrett, and this is your first time to TCOPC, and I mean, what were your impressions? I mean, you've been to the Star.
What a place. I mean, first of all, we're driving by on the highway, and Peter King is driving, and he missed the exit. So we drive by, we circle back. I'm like, what is that? And sure enough, we saw the complex, and what an amazing place, independent of the football stuff, all the stuff that's going on around here. But then you get here for these 4 practice fields. You got the indoor, you got the stadium, you walk inside, really everything you need. An impressive job by the Will family, no question about that.
So you're making the transition from coaching to the booth right now. What has that been like for you?
It's been fun. It really has been. I'm working for NBC, and I did 8 USFL games for them down in Birmingham, and it was a great learning experience. Something that I was so impressed by is the NBC people. There's so many good people there, and they coached me throughout. And it was a good experience each week to kind of get the feedback. A lot of it was positive, some of it was constructive criticism, but you can sink your teeth into that and get better. And I think we got better over the course of the season down there. I'm working with Jack Collinsworth, who's just, I think, incredible. And then I'm also going to do the Football Night in America. So working with Tony Dungy and Maria Taylor, they were great. We had our first game the other night in Canton. We had a rain delay. We had to fill for a half an hour. So
then you really got on your toes.
Yeah, first rattle out of the box. So it's been a fun experience.
That's awesome. I mean, I always wonder, how does the coach take coaching? But from your perspective, being out here, I actually saw you analyzing this practice as if you were out there coaching. You spoke to several staff. You watched the entirety of practice. What were your impressions of this team?
Well, first off, you just want to learn. I love football. I love coming out and talking to people and learning from them, and really impressive to see the guys come out here and work. We saw the walkthrough before practice. Everybody was locked in and focused. You get to practice, everybody knows what to do. They know where to go. And it was a professional operation, and got a chance to talk to a lot of different people in the organization. I think they're pleased with the approach that everybody's taken. It was a competitive practice. It was a professional practice. It was fun to watch.
I also saw you speaking with General Manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. I mean, did you get any insight into how things are going for him?
He's just fun to talk to.
Isn't he?
He really is. And just to visit with him about his background, some of his influences, really interesting. And then talking to him about the team, some of the things he really likes, some of the things that might still be question marks. And he's such a humble guy, but he always has such great wisdom. Anything I asked him, there was always something good coming out of his mouth. So really fun, stimulating conversation, and really wish him the best.
Well, there is a guy here that you know very well, an offensive coordinator, Wes Phillips, a guy that he said he worked with you for 7 years, and he says he's taken on a lot of traits of yours in respect. So what do Vikings fans, or what are Vikings fans getting in Wes Phillips?
I love Wes Phillips. I was fortunate. I worked for his dad, Wade Phillips, and Wes was on the staff, and he was with me on the offensive side of the ball. I was the offensive coordinator when I first went to Dallas, and he literally was my right-hand man. We spent more time together, early mornings, late nights, day after day after day, and he's such a bright football guy. Obviously grew up in a football family. His grandfather, Bum, a legend in the game. His dad's a legend. And Wes has kind of soaked all that up throughout his whole life, living in different spots, the people he's been around, and he loves football. And I saw that right from the start. I learned so much from him during our time together, even though he was a young coach. And we both worked for his dad for 4 years, and then he worked with me when I was the head coach after that. And he had a chance to go to Washington and then with the Rams, and having him here, I think, is a great thing for this Viking organization. He grew up in it. He knows it inside and out. He loves it. He's a great communicator, a great teacher. He's going to do an outstanding job.
Knowing where he's coached before and how he's risen up the ranks, what kind of a style? Like, what is the style of this Vikings offense that we'll see from what he wants this to be, right?
Well, I think he's probably been influenced by all the different people who have been in his life. I mean, I don't think there's any question his dad is probably his biggest influence. But, hopefully his time in Dallas, his time in college, will impact him in some way. But I think maybe more than anything else, from his time in Washington and with the Rams, I would imagine that it probably feels a lot like that. Those recent experiences that he's had, and obviously great situations. They've had great offenses. He's been around some really smart offensive people. But Wes is going to be himself. And that's such a critical thing when you're a coach. You can be influenced and take ideas and take little nuggets from different people along the way, but at the end of it, you got to be who you are, and Wes will definitely do that, and the Vikings are fortunate to have him.
That's awesome. Well, final question for you. Kirk Cousins now entering, I think it's a 6th straight offensive coordinator change. So it's been a little bit, there hasn't been as much consistency there as you would have hoped. But what does Kirk need to do this season to take it to the next level with this new staff?
Well, I'm a big fan of him as well. I had the good fortune of working with him at the Pro Bowl and got to know him for a week, and just seeing how he operates, how important football is to him, how good a person he is. And, he's one of those guys that, sometimes there's a lot of attention paid to him, and I just look back and say, he throws for a lot of yards, he throws a lot of touchdowns, he's won a lot of games. And, at different times, the Vikings maybe didn't get as far as people might have wanted them to go, and he's a part of that, but it's a team sport, and he's been an awfully good quarterback for a long time. You mentioned the different coordinators. He seems to have handled that really well. He seems to grow every year and get better and better. I think him matching up with Wes Phillips and with Kevin O'Connell will be a great match, and expect a lot of good things from those guys this year.
All right, well, that's a great progress report. We appreciate you hanging out with us here in Eagan for the day. Thank you so much, Jason Garrett, for being here at Vikings Training Camp.